within 30 days. This as it emerged that more than £500 million shillings was spent clearing bushes to pave way for the project. Look.
Shocking revelations of how billions of taxpayers' money might have been swindled in the Galana Kulalu model farm project have emerged. A Senate Committee on Agriculture probing the scandal has learned that over 7.2 billion shillings have been gobbled up with the project still incomplete. The President Kenyatta flagship project whose aim was to provide solutions to the country's food insecurity has only stalled 5 years since its launch.
The interest of this thing to take out, as far as I know, is political interest.
But both the contractor of the project and the Agriculture Ministry Principal Secretary Fred Segor appeared to be reading from different scripts, while the Israeli contractor revealed that the project had stalled because the Ministry of Agriculture refused to release funds meant for the purchase of equipment from Turkey. PS Segor insisted that there was an initial agreement of paying for the equipment after the completion of work.
If we terminate this project, definitely that we will run in default of our obligations under the loan agreement. And that's why the AG advised that there be a team.
It is quite clear that the ministry seems to be in a hurry to exit the project. You can see what the chair is saying. Exiting the project is actually making the project white elephant, and that's what we do not want.
The PS had a difficult time to explain how the government spent a whopping 580 million shillings to clear bushes in the expansive piece of land.
The interest to kill the project, like his honorable senators has mentioned here.
If at all, the connotation is that the consignment it was not paid for. Were you able to go and verify that what we were going to bring or what Kenyans were going to receive was worth the money?
According to Segor, the protracted battle between the ministry and the contractor had forced the former into contemplating to cancel the contract, but upon seeking an advisory opinion from the Attorney General and the Treasury, the ministry was directed to proceed with the project. Segor told senators that the project hosted by Kilifi and Tana River counties is 85% complete, a declaration the senators protested, noting their earlier visit to the site had revealed otherwise. With the back and forth witnessed, senators have directed the Auditor General to give a status report within 30 days detailing the project's expenditure. Makori Ongechi, Citizen TV, Nairobi.
Yep, so that's what shocked the nation yesterday, and we want to get into that discussion right now. But before that, I want to let you know that we had invited Gladys Bosholei, woman rep Uasin Gishu, for this discussion. She has not been able to join us. We had also invited PS Agriculture, Professor Hamadi Boga, for this discussion. He was supposed to join us, but cancelled last minute and did not send a representative, saying none was available from the ministry. It would have been good to hear their side of the story on this, but we'll have the discussion with those that are here with us in studio. Governor of Tana River County is here with us, and I want to start with you. In your view, what happened? And for you who has been on the ground, when one of the other agriculture PSS says the project is 85% complete, is that true?
There was a bit of a disagreement yesterday when one side is saying it's 75% complete, others are saying 52% complete. Of course, the whole of yesterday's discussion was one party contradicting the other.
What is the true position? Because it's in your county.
But the true position is that there are issues. That's the position. There are issues about Galana Kulalu, and you realize, you understand that last year I was here, right here, and I warned that Galana Kulalu could be heading towards a white elephant. But the whole discussion around there is about frustrations by the contractor on the attempt by the government or the employer to dismantle the whole concept of the objective of the Galana Kulalu. Because the Galana Kulalu, though I was not there during the inception of it, But the two governors, Governor Tana River and Governor Kilifi, Kingi, were there in Galana Kulalu, and they were taken through the whole concept. And the idea was to prove that the food insecurity in Kenya can be handled. And Galana Kulalu was to offer a solution. So one of the experiments that was to be done to prove that the food insecurity in Kenya is manageable was to come from Galana Kulalu. And so everyone, even ourselves, were hoping that now Galana Kulalu is giving a solution to all of us. Now that Bura and Hola irrigation scheme, remember those years of President Moi, there were some flying toilets and flying houses in Bura to the extent that Moi had to sack almost everyone. We cannot say that Bura and Hola and Tarda have offered serious solutions to this country.
And Galana Kulalu might be headed in the same path.
That's my worry.
That's your worry.
That's
Is there anything happening on the ground right now? The last time you were there, or the last time your team was there?
Nothing is happening now.
So it's a quiet space.
It has stalled. It has stalled now because of the pushes and pulls between the contractor and the employer. And the situation is such that the contractor, because we had a chance to sit with the contractor ourselves, I and Governor Kingi. And one of the things the contractor is talking about is from the word go, even before the project started, when you're talking about the bush clearing issue, the role of clearing the bush was given to NIB. And if you're watching properly yesterday, there was a debate on whether the bush clearing was done actually on the site. Because to us, it appeared
so bush clearing
that the bush clearing was done elsewhere. It started elsewhere.
So they're not clearing the area they were supposed to clear. They were clearing something else.
Something else.
Was anything clear to begin with?
Oh, I know we need to bring in Honorable Midu on this. The Israeli ambassador, I believe, or the Israeli team mentioned cartels.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was on record.
Yes.
Yes. Did they go further to name these cartels?
They did name, but I'll come to that issue of cartel, because it's a big jargon. I think there's just certain groupings of probably millers, importers, and if you look at my statement, as I said, NIB could have been conquered by some forces to the extent that now they are launching serious invasions to these schemes. So we believe, and some bit of politics of from us as governors of Tana and Kilifi, probably there could have been this politics, the politics of food.
So there's also internal politics.
Not internal. Yeah. Forces outside that are frustrating any efforts for Tana and Kilifi to be food production baskets.
All right.
Because there's a lot of talk all over that Tana is a food basket. But now why can't it be made what it is supposed to be?
Okay, hold that thought in just a bit. Let's bring in the Honorable Kipruto before I come to Jakoyo. You've been a former Minister for Agriculture, and now we're hearing that the bush clearing may have been done elsewhere. The money was 7.2 billion shillings. Was this concept well thought through?
Well, there are a number of things. First of all, let's define food security. It's about accessing food, the right nutritional value, and also in sustainable manner, and of course of the right quality. Now, when you talk of Galana, just like Bura and other irrigation schemes, it should have been a food in what I call integrated food security program, where you are thinking of livestock, you are thinking of crops, and asking yourself, how are we going to use this particular project to be able to impact on the people around that particular area? And the government should not pretend that they can do farming. Farming can better be done by individual farmers, but the government can give them the necessary support in terms of infrastructure. So I would have expected that the residents of Bura or Tana River and or Cliffy, who are the people within that particular area, could have been involved to see what role are they going to play in terms of farming activities. But when the government went and did what others had done before without learning from the mistakes of the past, that was where the problem was. And you cannot pretend that you can solve food security problem by just producing 10 million bags. Today, Kenyans need about 50 million bags of maize. Now, you are producing 10 million bags, which is supposed to be the component of importation that at times we have to do whenever we have a challenge. And you think we have solved the problem. If you wanted to have serious food security program for the people of Tana River and Cliffy, using the facility that the government has in that particular area, we should have thought of livestock production. We should have thought of many other crops other than just maize. Maize, in terms of irrigation, you cannot irrigate maize effectively, because maize, if you subject it to waterlogged condition for 24 hours, you will have standard growth of maize. Number two, there are a lot of vermins in that particular area. The governor can confirm that if you play around with the maize that you have harvested, post-harvest losses may end up being almost 80% because of the way you preserve the maize. Now, what was done was just to launch a political project without giving it the technical advice that is required. And that information is in the Ministry of Agriculture. We saw it before, and you can see it again
So
now.
then was this just a money minting venture?
It could have been money minting, and it could have also been a very ambitious program to make political sense. But it does not make economic sense to do it without involving the residents of the area.
Let me bring in Honorable Midiwo. Honorable Midiwo, the discussion of whether it's 20% done, 52% done, 75% to 85% is neither here nor there. More importantly, the belief is that the project has not lived up to its billing. Who should be held responsible? Who should Kenyans surcharge for the loss of any money in the Galana Kulalu project?
The Jubilee government stands indicted. Remember, Netanyahu came to State House. The day this government, the current government, was being sworn in. Usually, in political parlance, if a politician comes to visit, head of state comes to your country, isn't it good order to tell us what did he come to do? How can the Prime Minister of Israel come to Kenya, many hours apart, and go to State House, and Kenyans don't know what he came to do? Remember, when this project was mooted, it was said that we were leasing land to Israelis to produce all these things. They were not even producing for us. We were leasing land to them. At what point did it change that we were spending our own money? I thought if I lease land to you, you pay me.
You pay me.
So at what point did we sink 6 billion shillings in a project where we should have been receiving money? You know, last year it was said that we received about 7,000 bags, something like that, from that scheme. In other words, we were way, if it is 85%, 85% of 10 million is
8.5 million.
8.5 million
bags.
So how did we end up with 7,000 bags in this project? This is a project by the Jubilee government set up as a cash cow. And why do I say that? The deputy president comes from the place where we grow our most maize. Shouldn't it have been logical sense, class 8 logic, that we needed to just facilitate our farmers in the North Rift with fertilizer, good top dressing? Shouldn't we have addressed the issues in North Rift, even with $1 billion only? And today we would be food secure. You know, when this Turkana thing was happening, we were told there's our granaries are full. So if they are full, why do we need Galana Kulalu? Why? Mheshimiwa Kiru has said something very interesting, that it is okay, it can produce. Why didn't we produce something else, like livestock? There are many people doing a lot of ranching there. Why didn't the state, the people there, the locals that Dhadho Godhana lead, they are generally pastoralists. Why didn't we improve their breed? Why don't we, you know, these are not rocket science. Why can't we just go to Botswana and see how they do it? In any case, the Botswana thing was done by a Kenyan scientist.
The irony of it all.
The irony of it all. So now they're one of the largest meat producers. One thing that makes me happy, gentlemen, is that they will die and leave all this money they're stealing here. The only difference is that Kenyans are dying before them. So they will have nobody to spend the money on. This thing, you say, who do we indict? Yeah. Arrest people. That minister, how is it in this country that somebody who oversees corruption is made an ambassador? You know, somebody from EACC the other day is made an ambassador after EACC underperformed under his watch. The Minister for Agriculture is made an ambassador. Who was there before Kinjuri? He is now an ambassador after doing that thing.
Although he's not been formally charged in court.
No, I'm not saying he's formally in charge in court, but if you are a leader, if you're using executive power, because that's what ministers do, if it happens under your watch, you are a person of interest. You know, that argument, Wahega, is why we can't fight corruption. Because people are hiding behind bad laws. You know, that's why we are calling for reforms. People are hiding behind bad laws. You don't have to be formally charged in court to be a criminal. Criminals are known. And anybody with a criminal mind is corrupt. Okay. So what am I saying? I am saying you must give the history of Galana Kulalu. Remember, it was thought about or constructed around the same time the laptops thing was done. Yeah. Actually, Galana Kulalu is the twin brother of laptops.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Governor, this project is in your county.
Yes.
Over 10,000 acres of land. What would have been a better use for that land, in your view? And should it really just be left to you and the governor of Kilifi to sort it out?
Ombija, one, I don't agree with my brother a bit. That probably money could have been spent in Rift Valley. Tana equally deserves the level of growth of the people of Rift Valley, Western, and others in this country.
So, but is Tana set up? Is it set up?
One fact which my brother also agrees, I don't think we differ in that, that Tana is a food basket, is everybody's talk.
I agree.
So to get to invest in that place is the best thing I think government has done. And then again, saying that probably it could have gone to maybe livestock, and that project was an integrated kind of project that could benefit both farmers and pastoralists. Yeah. But again, I want to clarify something here that needs to be captured properly. The people of Tana, both Oruma and Pokomo, the larger groups, are not just pastoralists and they're not just farmers. They are both agro-pastoralists. This fact has not been captured.
That's true.
It has not been captured. That Orumas also grow crops. Pokomos, the larger, also keep cattle. But at some point, there was a bit of injuries to the lifelines, whichever side. But let me say this, that the Galana Kulalu, as much as it could be a twin brother to the laptop project, but it was a study that was done. From what I know, people were given an assignment to collect data on weather, on soils, on species of seeds, and a lot of scientific research and survey went into that concept of Galana Kulalu, to the extent that those who did it, the Israelis, proved that Galana Kulalu is workable. And it is at that point that the concept was adopted by the Kenyan government. And then they were given the contract
to make it work.
Yeah. So everyone was convinced, out of the research that was done, that this thing is workable.
So the concept was good, the implementation
was good. To the extent now that the president, before even Netanyahu came here, the president, from what we hear, was in Israel with ministers, and he was taken through. So I want to believe 2 presidents were sitting and a presentation was being done. And all of them were convinced this is a workable thing. Then they came here, called governors, Governor Kingi, Governor Dhadho, plus a team of ministers and government officials, and the presentation was taken through again, and the concept was adopted by everyone. This thing is workable, and we went into agreements, and money was set aside, and we went into it. And even the people of Tana, even the members of the public, were meant to believe
this was going to change their lives.
This one going to change their lives completely. And the whole of Kenya was singing Galana Kulalu.
So who dropped
the whole world was singing Galana Kulalu to America, China,
You've given us
all over.
Yeah, that's a good history.
that's a very good history lesson, and it's actually a very workable project. But who dropped the ball then, in your view?
In
Where
this
did
thing,
go wrong?
I think, and it's not a guess, by the way, there is a lot of politics about Galana Kulalu. Us as Jumuiya, the counties of Pwani, are convinced beyond doubt that this project must continue because we believe it is workable.
You believe it is workable?
But look at this. This is a concept agreed upon. Then you start from day one. First, this is the site, because after it all there are designs. Then you say, we'll take over this. Then you go and say, now we started a bush clearing some outside the designed project area.
Lots of issues, Governor.
That's not a mistake. That's very deliberate.
So someone was trying to divert the funds into their own pockets.
And I asked that question yesterday, because there they said there was land that was already leased by Galana Ranch to other people. And this project was not designed there. But then they went ahead to go and do bush clear. The 500, the $500 million shillings you're talking about, part of it went to an area that was out of the design.
Do we know who owns that area?
Those are issues now. That's why I asked. So did you go to clear bushes in whose land? Was it the land that was leased out, or the land that belonged to Galana that had not been leased out? Even if you miss it,
and you did not get an answer.
You could miss and fall in an area that has not been leased out. But was it within this area that was not leased, or within area that had already been leased out? They said they were somewhere at the border.
Somewhere at the border. Governor, allow me to interrupt you because we are getting so much feedback. Allow me to interrupt you. I'll come back to you, Governor. Let's take a look at some feedback. Let me read one quick SMS a farmer, Harun Washira, has sent my way. He says, when farmers are provided with infrastructure, for example in Mwea, and allowed to sell their produce in the open market, they overproduce. Government should just play the role of buying for strategic reserves, not be the farmer.
Exactly.
Secondly, corruption can only be fought from the very top. These National Irrigation Board fellas that are clearing bushes elsewhere, again, should that be proven to be true, and it came out in that discussion, should be in as we speak. By the way, 3 large-scale American farmers can produce more maize than anything that Kenya needs.
Isn't that interesting? Because also Jumuiya account is a Pwani, that's what he calls his Twitter handle. They say that Galana Kulalu can be devolved and well done by Kilifi and Tana counties through the Jumia 1 million acre project. And that's what I was asking you earlier on, Governor, whether this should just be left to the governors to deal with. And we have Isaac who says making food security a reality in Kenya will definitely require accountability from the parties involved and giving farmers a reason to start planting again. Most of our farm produce ends up getting spoiled since no one cares out there. And we still have more tweets coming through to our newsrooms. Let's read some of them right now.
Francis Kigondo says Galana Kulalu has been sabotaged from the word go by insider government operatives and cartels. Food insecurity in Kenya provides big business for flamboyant businessmen and our evil politicians. The Senate is just playing to the gallery. Why the postmortem?
Yeah. Why the post-mortem? That's an interesting question he's asking. It should have been done earlier on. It's now being done now. Sam Roto says, what kind of bushes were these cleared for 580 million shillings? The biggest white elephant which will always haunt JP. That's Jubilee Party.
Okay, let's take a look at another one. Of course, a very emotive subject here. Engineer Lazaro, Galana Kulalu is one of Jubilee's most misguided mega projects. Failing to do thorough research and consultations with the experts is causing this country a lot of wasted money.
All right, of course, you're saying it was good on paper. It's just the implementation that is a problem. We have Bore, who says there are two views on this. Galana Kulalu project, political and technical view. Unfortunately, it's the political views that have dominated.
Okay. Let's take a look at two SMSs. The first one up on the screen now. This is from Sir Nixon Dugire. Food security programs should be run by church leaders. Okay, that's very interesting. Preferably ethically ordained, morally upright, godly reverends, and bishops.
It's an interesting view. There's still more here. Comment from Eldoret. He says, it is time we take this mirage as an opportunity to engage our unemployed youth to meaningful productivity. We can't afford to export labor through food importation. A hungry population is an angry one.
Very good.
All right. Very intense observations there. I would keep the views coming in 22422. The hashtag we're using is Daybreak. Assistant TV Kenya, Trevor Mbijat Waiga, Maurat Zinzi K. We'll sample some of your views during this broadcast. We're taking a quick break. We'll come back and try and find out if this can be resuscitated. Yeah, the 10,000 acres, can it be resuscitated? Can we get value for money? We'll find out next.